Hey, welcome back. Today, we're going to dive into a piece of English grammar that, honestly, is way more than just a boring rule. It's actually a super powerful tool for telling amazing stories.
So, right off the bat, I have a question for you. What were you doing last night at 10 p.m.? Seriously, think about it for a sec. Were you watching a show? Maybe reading a book? Or, let's be real, maybe you were just scrolling on your phone. Whatever it was, just hold on to that thought.
You see? That sentence that you just made up in your head, you already used it. You used this special tense to paint a picture of an action that was happening in the past. And today, we're going to totally master it.
Okay, so before we get into all the nuts and bolts of how to build it, let's back up. We need to understand its main job, like what is the past continuous tense really trying to do for us?
The best way to think about it is like the journey of an action. As you can see here, it's a four-step story. 1. The action started sometime in the past. 2. It kept going for a while. 3. It was definitely in progress at a specific moment. And 4. That whole journey is usually over and done with now.
All right, so now that we know what it does, let's pop the hood and see how it works. And the good news, it's really easy. There's a simple, repeatable blueprint you can use to build this tense every single time.
And here it is. It's really just 3 little building blocks. You start with your subject, the person or thing doing the action. Then you add a helper, either was or were. And to finish it off, you just take your main verb and slap ing on the end. That's it.
So really, the only choice you have to make is was or were. And the rule for that is super straightforward. If your subject is singular, just one thing, like I, he, she, or it, you're going to use was. If your subject is plural, more than one, like you, we, or they, you'll use were. Easy enough, right?
And here you can see the whole formula laid out visually, which is really helpful. You've got your subject, you've got your helper verb splitting into was or were, and you've got your main verb with that ing tacked on the end. That's the whole blueprint in one clean shot.
Okay, now for the most important part. For real. We know what it is, we know how to build it, but why should we even care? What are its superpowers? Let's talk about how this thing actually helps you tell a way better story.
Okay, superpower number 1 is all about setting the scene. It's absolutely perfect for painting a background picture. Think about it. Before the big main action of your story kicks off, you can tell us what was already going on. The wind was blowing, the sun was setting, the crowd was cheering. It just pulls you right in.
Exactly. I love this icon from our source material because it's perfect. Using the past continuous is just like opening a storybook and seeing this big, detailed illustration before you even read the first word. It immediately puts you in that world.
Superpower number 2 is showing an interruption. Oh, this is a classic storytelling move. You use the past continuous to talk about a long background action that was just chugging along when, bam, something else, a shorter action, happened and cut it off.
And this visual just nails the concept. That long progress bar, that's your ongoing action. And that arrow, that's the short, sudden thing that comes in and interrupts it. It's such a great way to remember how this works.
And here is the perfect example. So what was the long action? I was walking home. It was in progress. In the interruption, it started to rain. A short, sudden event. See how those two tenses just work together perfectly to tell a mini-story?
And finally, superpower number 3, describing parallel actions. This is what you use when you want to show that 2 or even more things were happening at the exact same time in the past.
Right? It's all about those 2 parallel arrows you see here. It's like while I was cooking dinner, my roommate was watching TV. 2 different ongoing actions happening side by side at the very same time.
All right, we've covered the what, the how, and the why. So to wrap things up, let's just do a quick lightning round of examples from our source material and see this all come together in the wild. First up, setting the scene. It was snowing today. Boom. Simple sentence, but it instantly creates a mood and an atmosphere for whatever story comes next. Next, showing an ongoing activity. Boys were playing basketball. This drops us right into the middle of the action. We're not seeing the beginning or end of the game, just a moment in the middle. Here's another one. Ruby was reading the newspaper. Again, we're focused on the action in progress, not when she started or when she finished. And last one, linking an ongoing action to a specific time. Ronak was studying last night. Hey, that sounds familiar, doesn't it? It's just like the question I asked you at the very beginning of all this.
So there you have it. It's a storytelling tool, and now it's your tool.
You have the blueprint, and you know its three main superpowers. So I'm going to ask you one last time. What were you doing just before you started this explainer? Go ahead, think of your answer, because now you know exactly how to say it.